Welcome to the Beyond the Mic Show, a show where we interview top coaches, consultants, and experts about topics that will help you run your coaching business more profitably and serve your clients more effectively. I'm your host, Matt Walrath, and today's guest is Amber Vilhauer. You will learn in a minute why I was so blown away by Amber and why I just had to have her on the show. But first, a little bit about her. Amber is an online digital marketing expert who supports authors, speakers, and coaches to establish a powerful, integrated online presence that gets results and empowers them to make a difference in their industry. She supports entrepreneurs through website development, list building strategies, product launches, and social media management. She is the launch manager behind several #1 best-selling books, including those for Mark Victor Hansen, Brendan Burchard, Lisa Nichols, and Les Brown. But the real reason you're seeing this interview is that she is a ninja at connecting with people online and providing value without any expectation of return or using pushy sales tactics. In this interview, we cover how to be better at connecting with people online. And we also discuss her insanely effective content strategy, Leverage to Scale, which I use a version of in my own business. If you want to learn how to make your transition from in-person to an online business feel seamless, and if you'd love to know how in just 3 hours, Amber managed to create a year's worth of golden content, keep watching or save this video for later. So without further ado, let's get into the show. So, hey Amber, I'm super stoked that we're getting on this call today to share your vast knowledge of marketing expertise, as well as just how to connect with people on the Beyond the Mic Show.
Dude, I am so grateful to be here. Thank you. I mean, Matt and I had a conversation previously. I really felt connected to you and what you're doing. I love your audience and who you are trying to serve. I love influencers who can influence other influencers, which is kind of what you're doing. And I'm just happy to be here. So thanks for letting me drop some value. Yeah,
of course. And I mean, the funny thing, just to give people some context, is that I ended up booking what would be a discovery call with you. And usually when I end up doing that, there tends to be some sales pitch that happens. But from the moment we got on that call, the first thing you said was, I know that these usually end up with a sales pitch somewhere. You're like, I just like to use these to make connections with people. So if there's any way that you think that I can help you, just let me know. And I'm happy to answer those questions. And you were so generous with just putting out the opportunity to chat with you for 45 minutes. I was like,
I know, people don't do that, right?
Yeah.
I like to go against the grain. I mean, for me, in fact, Dave Smith, who connected us, he made a Facebook post a couple of weeks ago that said you should build relationships without expectation. And I loved the way that he said that. I show up on every call that I do, every podcast interview, whatever it is that I'm doing, I show up fully as myself with the goal to give as much value and direction as I can without expectation, because I think that expectation is what disappoints. And so if I don't have that expectation and I can just show up and be present and open and in service, then I'm nothing but happy at the end of it, no matter what happens. And I also am wise enough now, I've been in business long enough to know by now that that first, quote, sales call is not the defining moment. Okay. So even if you don't buy from me on that particular call, I still know there's a very strong likelihood that you're going to buy from me eventually, right? Because if our personalities connect, if our core values connect, I know that I'm delivering massive value, and that's not coming from ego. It's because I work really, really hard to be able to do that and say that. Then it will work out at the right time for you to work with me. And I know that. So I'm just going to show up and have fun and come from a place of joy, because then it's much more enjoyable for me also. And it's just less pressure for you. I mean, it just enhances the quality of the relationship right out of the gates. So I go against the grain.
Yeah. And I know that as soon as I'm ready to write a book, for example, I know exactly who I'm going to help me with that.
Dude, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I think one of the things that I'm picking up there is that there was a transition point, because you're like, when I do it this way, I know no matter what, I'm getting off the call and I'm going to be happy. So Did that come from you being on calls and ending up at the end of the call like, oh God?
Yeah, in the very beginning, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. So I have a website agency first. That was my first project or product that I ever sold was, hey, I'll build your website. And at that time, I said, I'll build websites for anybody and everybody, anybody who needs one. So what would happen is people would get to my website, they would see that I sell websites, and they would schedule an hour-long sales call with me. On that call, I'd get to know them, learn about their goals and their project and their needs. Then they would always ask me, so what's the process to build a website? And I'd go through my whole spiel about the process. And then they would ask me the question that always made me nervous, what's it going to cost me? Because, I don't know if they're going to think my rates are high or fair or what. So I just get uncomfortable. And so then I would share my pricing. And 25% of the time, it would work and people would move forward and hire me. And the other 75% of the time, it would be that sounds really good. I'm going to need to get back to you. And then I'd never hear from them again. And it was painful. I would end the call just thinking like, I just spent an hour on this and I feel like I got no further ahead. And so that's when I started thinking like, how can I do this in a smarter way? And so what I ended up doing, and this relates to what we were talking about earlier with connection, what I ended up doing that is I recorded a video. And during that video, it was just me on camera and I was talking about the process for building a website. And then separate from that, I made a document that I call a service menu that outlined our pricing. So now people would get to the website, they would watch my video to learn the process, they would get access to our service menu to get our rates. Just by implementing those two things, what would happen is people would then move forward to a call. But I only had to schedule 30-minute calls instead of hour-long calls because they already knew most of the information. I didn't have to repeat myself. But the better part is that because I led with video first, several things happened. Number one, they got to see my personality. And if they didn't like my personality and they thought, she's too smiley, she's just too bubbly, she talks too fast, then they would run for the hills and I would never know otherwise. But if they liked my personality, then throughout the course of this video, we would be building a connection. And I would be doing this video talking to one person and just really nurturing that person, telling them about the process and getting them fired up. So by the time people got to this 30-minute call with me, I was closing 85% of the time instead of 25% of the time. And I got to cut my call times in half. So that's part of it. Part of my joy is coming from those painful experiences and coming up with systems that create human connection and also offer total transparency to people coming in. So it saves time, it builds trust. And then these quote sales calls can just be really getting to know each other. I don't have the pressure of sharing my pricing because they already know that in advance. They don't feel pressure. The whole process has just become so much more enjoyable. So I guess my bottom line to that, the takeaway is looking at your sales process or your marketing process. What can we be doing to make it a better, stronger human connection, to be more transparent and to save time, but without sacrificing quality? And if you can solve that case, man, it's going to be so much easier to grow your business and make an impact.
Yeah, big time. I mean, we ended up with my coaching business, we ended up implementing when we first started out, we didn't put the price on the website because we had a premium coaching service. And we knew that if people were price shopping, that they'd see ours and they'd just glaze over it.
It's tough.
Yeah. But the thing is, then we would get on calls with people. And then when we would say the price, they'd be like, oh, I was expecting what, the lowest cost that I saw online was. And then all of a sudden, even though we had built that connection with people, because that's what we really focused on, it was like, oh, no, that's not the price that I was expecting whatsoever. As soon as we put that price up there, not only did the number of calls go down, but then the amount of people who got on the calls were converting to clients at a much higher rate. So right. I'm sure you also not only had to spend less time on calls, half as much time, but I'm sure your number of calls dropped, eh?
They did. And it's very, very, very scary as an entrepreneur. I mean, especially when you're just starting out, because you're thinking, geez, I'll get on the phone with anybody and everybody because maybe there's a chance somebody will eventually buy, right? And so honestly, I didn't really have a choice but to sit on the phone as much as possible. I felt like I didn't have a choice anyway. But yeah, I think once I got a little bit of cash flow coming in and I felt like I could take that risk, that is when I showcased the pricing, and then the call volume dropped, but my sales went from 25 to 85%. And during that time, Matt, I was also able to double my prices, which is another thing that people are totally freaked out to do. They're scared to raise their prices. And so I probably have taken these quote risks. It might take me longer to make the risk because I want to make sure that I'm still growing, not too aggressively. Like I don't want the house of cards to collapse, right? But I think risk is a really important part of entrepreneurship. And so just test it out, experiment with putting your prices out there, and then see what happens, see how the audience adjusts. And if you find that you're making no sales, then reevaluate and try something else. But usually showcasing your pricing just builds more trust and more credibility. And it can lead to a better conversion because it looks like it's just a more transparent approach to the prospects coming in. And chances are your competitors aren't showcasing their pricing. So it could give you an advantage in certain industries.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm liking the whole transparency thing here.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I've noticed you say is that early on, you would take a call with anybody. You weren't specific about who you were building websites for. And I imagine that's changed a little bit.
Yes. Seriously, in the beginning, I built websites for rental companies, a company that built solar parts and distributed them. Somebody who distributed like paper products to restaurants. I was all over the place. And it took me about 2 years, felt like I was on the slow road here, but it took me 2 years before I could build enough websites to detect a pattern for the projects that created more conflict or refunds or communication challenges or just were more painful or boring, right? As opposed to the projects that inspired the crap out of me, that I just felt like on fire with. I never even noticed how much time I was spending on those projects. The clientele that made me feel better about myself, that actually said please and thank you and recognized me and gave me testimonials. So it turns out that authors, speakers, and coaches are my people. They are the nicest people. They want to help others. They say please and thank you. They give testimonials. They make their payments on time. They feel badly if they're behind on something. And it's like, what? It's fine. I don't know. They're just kind people. And honestly, when I'm around good people, I just come alive. And so it was about 2 years in that I said, I work with authors, speakers, and coaches very proudly. And that's still a huge industry, right? But, those are definitely my people. And I've been really, really happy ever since focusing on those people.
Awesome. Yeah, because something that I've noticed is that early on in my own career, I would work with anybody that wanted to work with me because of that, that like, I'm just getting started out. I need the money. But I totally found that, just like you said, there's more refunds, there's more customer service requests, and also it trains you. The thing I really liked is that you're talking not only about how speakers, authors, and coaches end up paying on time, but really sounded like those are the people, they light you on fire. They get you stoked to end up going to work.
Totally. Like knowing that you want to help others feel more energetic and strong in their bodies. Oh man, I think that's so awesome. I love feeling energetic and strong in my body. So if I can support you in giving you some sort of marketing strategy or system, if I can increase your speed to get your message out there more quickly, or if I can build you a website that helps you convert so that you're impacting more people and helping more and more and more people feel energetic and strong, how can that not make me fired up? I mean, seriously. So I do think that the faster you can figure out what gives you joy and what feels painful, And really we can only do that through trial and error. You don't know what you don't know, right? Until you go out there and you have experiences and you pay attention. But the more that you focus on things that bring you joy, whether it's a certain type of person, or you could be translating this into the different types of offers that are out there. I have a lot of clients that come to me, Matt, and they're like, what should I sell? How do I monetize? What should I do? Courses or memberships or one-on-one coaching? Should I do speaking or a book? And I say, what do you want to do? And they look at me like a deer in headlights. They don't even understand the question I just asked. But I say, there are certain marketing practices that everybody should do if you want to get exposure. But when it comes to monetization specifically, do whatever you want. Do whatever lights you up. If that is one-on-one coaching, then do that. If you hate the idea of that, then go do an online course. And if you hate the idea of that, do a 2-day in-person workshop 5 times a year. Like, there's no set rule. You have to do what gives you joy when it comes to an offer, because that's also going to dictate your sales conversion. If you're on the phone with a prospect selling something that is painful for you, you're probably not going to be selling a whole lot of that, or you're going to be getting refunds or conflicts or whatever else it is. So just paying attention can really dictate the growth of your company and the success and the joy you have.
That's really interesting. So pretty much being in line with what makes sense for you. Otherwise, you'll probably be communicating to whoever wants to work with you on a almost subconscious level. I don't actually want to do this, but I'm just doing it because that's how I'm making money right now, rather than I'm really excited to do this. And this is what I enjoy doing. And I'm going to bring my joy to you as my client.
100%. I don't even think that we have real awareness of how much we're communicating non-verbally, right? Am I leaning into the camera because I'm fired up right now? Or am I disconnected and leaning back because I don't trust you? Am I biting my lip? Am I looking up to the left or to the right? Am I distracted? Does it feel like I'm gazing off into the distance, not really here? I mean, you can really tell a lot about if a person is genuine and real, what they're feeling just by looking at them. We're highly intuitive beings, right? And this even translates on video, and it even translates on audio, and it can sometimes translate in text too. So it has to do with our voice inflection and the intensity and the flow and the pacing. I mean, not to get crazy here, but yeah, how you genuinely feel inside, you can't trick people. That will come out and it will impact your results.
Yeah. And would you say that that's the foundation to actually connecting with people online, is to actually prepare yourself first and make sure that on the inside, everything's aligned with what you're saying and that you're actually enjoying what you're doing?
100%. It's all inner work first every time. Yeah. Even I think that a big part of, that connection comes from being open to connecting. Okay. Yeah. So there are a lot of people that aren't really that open to connecting because they've experienced pain and mistrust in the past. And so they're protective, they're guarded, right? So if I'm closed on any level, do you think that's going to affect the level of connection that we could possibly have together? Absolutely, right? So I think in order to make a deep and fast connection with somebody, you have to be open. And there's a risk to that. It's a little scary. I think you have to trust. There are people that say, nope, you need to earn my trust. And the other side of the camp says, I start with trust until you break it, right? Yeah. So I think that being somebody who's trusting, somebody who's open, I think that being present in this moment contributes to the connection, right? Because if I'm off distracted thinking about something else, that will affect what you're picking up from me, right? So there's all kinds of inner work that really contributes to the level of connection that you can have even with your prospects or other influencers or colleagues or friends. And I think circling back to where you were talking, the place you were talking to, that's absolutely part of it as well. I know that in the mornings, for example, when I wake up, I have an absolute intentional focus of being my most energetic and strong self. So if I want to be my absolute most energetic and strong self, what are the actions or thoughts? What do I need to do that's going to get me in that place? For me personally, it has to do with having enough time between the moment I wake up and the moment I have to be somewhere. If that is a condensed period of time, then I'm rushed and I'm scattered and I'm not grounded. If I have more time, then I settle into it and I have more time to think or process or get disciplined or build myself up. I think the music I listen to contributes to that. How I move my body, am I exercising, whether it's yoga or something else, the nutrition I put in my body. I mean, I realize I'm getting down to a granular level, but I think people don't grasp just how many things contribute to your joy or your energy levels, right? Now, your audience totally gets that more than the average person. So that's the good news. But I feel like all of this combined helps you in the present moment when you're sitting across from an awesome person like Matt and you're having this conversation and he's either feeling like, damn, this girl's awesome, I love this conversation, or he's like, it's okay, ready for the next one. So what can I do to contribute to this connection? And I have to play all out because this is your success and happiness and result of this show and the impact that you're giving to your people. And it's my future success and happiness too that's on the line in this very moment. So let's be present for it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Just being able to drop into the conversation, really just like laying that foundation, making sure that you're actually clear in your own self to be able to then connect. And I'm totally the type of person. I heard a great quote. I think it was in a Bob Proctor book. And it was, you don't know if you can trust someone until you trust someone. And it's funny.
Oh, that's like awesome.
Yeah, the trust until the trust is broken.
I really love that. Yeah. And I mean, look, pain is a natural part of the human experience. And thank goodness for it, because it gives us contrast. It makes us stronger. It gives us a greater depth of emotion that we can draw from in order to have greater connection in the future or to be better at copywriting or sales conversion. I mean, everything does have its purpose in place. So then it just becomes a matter of how you're going to rebound from that pain so that you can trust again, right? Which is a whole other conversation. But regardless, if you take anything from this session here today, it's got to be, what else can you do to build connection with people, whether in person or online or in a more digital format, like if it's a pre-recorded video on YouTube, right? How can you deliver connection everywhere you go and without expectation, knowing that it will come back to you like a boomerang? It just does. That's the law of the universe.
Of course. And I know you have a lot of experience with connecting with people online. And since I'm teaching a lot of online coaches, I think that that's something that maybe people are thinking about, okay, like maybe tactically within my marketing, how do I connect better with people? And I'm curious for you, like I've seen, I'm on your email list, I see your YouTube channel, I see the way that you're doing things, but I'm curious from your perspective, what are you doing whenever you're creating a piece of content to make sure that it connects with your audience?
Wow, like 12 things just rushed in. So into my mind. I think probably there are several things. One is whenever I'm doing anything, really, I'm doing it for one person and one person only. So let's take the YouTube videos as an example. Every week I publish a new YouTube video. And it's a deep dive, very detailed, very tactical, how to do blank. And it's usually marketing related. When I'm doing that video, I could pretend in my mind that, oh my God, the whole world is going to see this video. So now I get all hung up in my mind because I'm trying to cater this toward this man or this woman, or he's divorced and she's married and they have kids, but no, she's a millennial. Oh, but he's retired. And it gets overwhelming fast. And what happens is you lose clarity of message and clarity in positioning. And when you lose those things, the rest of your message completely falls apart and it doesn't land with anybody. And that's why you don't get conversion. So for me, I think of one person. And by the way, in the early days when I was just starting to sort of grasp this, I had an avatar that, everything I did for her, this one specific person. Now I have different people that come to mind when I'm doing different types of videos. So it just depends. Whomever needs to be the person you're doing the video for to get the best result out of that particular video or topic is who you should be sort of channeling in that moment. And literally before I start recording, I will think of that person. I'll remember any exchanges we had before or the pain points they talked to me about. Are they stressed, overwhelmed? Do they hate technology? What is it about that person? And largely, it's important to think about what they have expressed in terms of their feelings about things. Because the more that you can play to people's emotions, the deeper of a connection that you get faster. So I will be thinking of this person who is, scared or hates technology or is frustrated easily, and I will do the video about website conversion for that person. And that would be a very different connection and experience than if I imagined somebody who is very tech savvy, been there, done that, fast thinker, success comes easily to them. It changes the way that you word things and the way that you pace things. It changes your structure. It changes your call to action at the end. So honestly, whether you are doing a pre-recorded video or you're typing out a story on your Instagram or you are sending an email to your email list, try to do it for one person, not the masses, and it will land better and you'll create more of a connection. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest things. But in addition to that, I think consistency is really important. So in terms of building a connection, that's really rooted in trust. And if you are all scattered all over the place with your communication, maybe people won't hear from you for 3 months and you'll pop up out of nowhere and send a bunch of emails and then you'll disappear again. That doesn't give me that sense of comfort and safety and trust with you. The more consistent that you are in your language and frequency of posting on social media or consistently with your messaging on your YouTube videos or whatever it is, I think consistency is actually a bigger marker than most people would think. And there's one other thing that comes to mind that I'll share now and then we can move forward. But live streaming is honestly an insane, unbelievable way to create connection in a digital world. Live streaming is still fairly new where a lot of people haven't experimented with it, but you're able to connect and engage with people live on the spot. And there's an energy, there's a spark that happens live that doesn't happen on a pre-recorded video on YouTube, right? So the more you can try to experiment with live streaming, I think you'll find your results come a little bit more quickly and naturally than other mediums.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious about that with the live streaming because I haven't really done too much in terms of live video content myself. Like I've jumped on Instagram Live to check it out. I've checked out Facebook Live, but I've never been, like you said, consistent with it. And I'm curious, when you're getting onto those, what are you doing in the live stream that's different than pre-recorded?
It's a great question. Well, one thing that comes to mind, and I guess, look, I think that anytime you're doing something live, you can usually also do it pre-recorded, but it's just the feeling that the end user gets when it's live. Like they're a part of a moment right now, right? That they can't feel with something pre-recorded. And people want to feel like they got VIP backstage access or they were the first to know, right? It's like an ego thing and it feels good. Yeah. But I can tell you, I'll give you an example. I ran a 2-day event in June called Author Up Live. And we're running another one next year. And basically it's for authors who want to have a more significant launch. And during this event, we teach them how to market the year before the launch and then how to sell 10,000 copies of their book that first week. Okay. Yeah. So it's a pretty high level event. I wanted to get really creative and out of the box with how we were marketing it. So I decided to really go all in with video and live streaming, knowing that was the fastest way to make connection. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. So screw it. I'm going all in with video. And so I did a couple of things, one unrelated, but it's still a good tip to give to your people. As soon as people bought, they're in that moment of like, oh my God, I just did this. I'm so excited. I immediately emailed them and said, hey, Katie, I'm so fired up to have you come. And by the way, this was not an automated email. There was an automated welcome email that went out. This was a separate personal email from Amber right after they bought. Katie, I'm so excited for you to come. Hey, can I ask a huge favor? Would you be willing to pull out your phone right now and record a 1-minute video telling me why you decided to join, why you're so excited to come to Author Up Live? Thank you so much. Here's my cell phone number. Just text it to me. You're the best. I can't wait to see you in person. I would say that 90 to 95% of the registrants did that. And they texted me their video within 24 hours. And they were phenomenal videos because they were hot in the moment. It was so exciting. So I took those videos and I put them on YouTube. I then crafted a blog post on the Author Up Live website featuring them and their video, and then spread that like wildfire through social media and sent it out to our email list that we were building. So that's a separate, that has nothing to do with live streaming, but I had to share it because it's just a great tip. And this can happen even with your coaching program. Let's say you just, somebody signed on your coaching program. Oh my God, will you just give me a 1-minute video telling me why you decided to join? This is also a good tool for retention because if they ever feel like you're losing momentum with them, remind them of why they first joined, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to live streaming here. So with live streaming, the next thing that I did, because that fed into this next piece, I would then thank Katie. Oh my God, you're the best. Thank you so much for that. What an amazing video. Oh my gosh. I got another idea. What if, Katie, I were to schedule a time with you in the next week and I brought you live in front of my entire platform and I interviewed you? Would you be open to that? Because what I'm thinking, Katie, is it is in support of promoting Author Up Live, which you're clearly fired up to attend. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to be there. But I think this would be a great way to tell my audience about what it is that you're doing and, give you some promotion at the same time that we're promoting Author Up Live. What do you think? Win-win? What do you think? Oh my gosh, they freaked out. They loved it so much. So now on these live streams, I have Katie come on, which serves so many purposes. First of all, she gets promoted. So she's like thinking, I just hit jackpot. But the other thing is to the other people who are on the fence about Author Up Live, they're seeing the people that are going to be joining them at Author Up Live. They get this sense of community, right? They see that, wow, it's not just about the Amber and Mike and AJ show. They're about their community first because they're on promoting them on live. Well, I hope they pick me to do some live streaming. This looks amazing, right? Yeah. There are all of these incredible wins. It shows that people are buying and they're fired up and all of this buzz is happening, right? And so what I did is I would run these live streams, and I was very strategic about the questions to make sure that I was highlighting Katie, her expertise and making sure that it was a puff piece for her, but also for us, which she loved, because then she would be more compelled to share it with her network because it made her look good, right? And so then when we were done with the live stream, I'd download and optimize it for YouTube. I'd put it on our blog and optimize it for Google. I'd spread it through social media. I'd send it to our email list, which now even more things are happening, right? And I also use live streaming for that event to bring in people who were not coming to the event, but I knew were really big name, recognizable influencers to build up my credibility, to have fun, to draw in a bigger crowd. And so I think that live streaming, long story short, is an opportunity to be playful and to really bring in your community more than anything, because there are nothing but wins out there. And the more consistently you do that, the more trust you build, the more credibility and authority you build, and the more connection that you build, especially with the people that are watching you live, because you can be speaking to them directly during your live stream. Oh, hey, Howie just joined us. Howie, type in the comments. Let me know the highlight of your day, or what's your burning question when it comes to whatever it is. The more you're getting those people involved, the more they're willing to share it with others and continue getting engagement with you moving forward too. So just unlimited wins.
That makes sense. Yeah. Because at first I was like, why couldn't you have just pre-recorded an interview with Katie or a podcast or something like that? But then to hear it's like, oh, the people are coming on, then you get a chance to engage and connect with those people. Seems to be where the real gold is on those live streams.
Here's the thing. All of these experts right now are teaching automation. Automation. It's the buzzword, funnels, automation, which is a good idea in theory. However, automation by definition strips out human involvement so that you can automate the task. If you strip out human involvement, you're stripping out a big chunk of that connection, which builds the trust and builds the authority that helps close the sale. So if you're going to fully automate your business, hey, more power to you, go for it. Just know your conversions are going to go down because you are missing the most critical element of your success, which is you. So as much as we all want to accelerate, reduce our time, reduce our involvement so we can go out and play, yes. And remember your why. You're here for people. You're here for impact. So don't remove the very thing that you're here to do. You're not here to build out an automation. You're here because you want to impact people. So we have to remember to lead with that connection first, I think.
Big time. Yeah. It's funny because I'm so like defensive of automation because I'm like,
I know you are. I know you are.
Automation allows me the time to have connection at the right point for people and to actually put that personalized touch on those interactions. But I know that's not what you're saying about automations. You're saying like if you have an evergreen webinar that goes into a funnel that has automated email sequences and no one ever gets to chat one-to-one with you, then obviously the conversions are going to be much lower because people, like if people saw you right now on this Amber and they were like, oh my God, I love her personality. And then they sign up for your email list, end up to an automated webinar and never actually get to interact with you. I'm sure they're like, oh God, I really wanted that chance to talk to Amber. Like Matt had that 45-minute call and I didn't get it. So yeah, that's a lot more people out the window.
Yeah. And I think that you just have to, this is really tricky. It's a gray area, right? So I'm not against automation. I am for infusing opportunities for connection in every aspect of your automation, right? Yeah. So for example, let's say on your website, you have an opt-in offer, okay? You download my ebook on 7 ways to eat better. People sign up, they get redirected to a success page that says, go check your email. So then on my email, here's the text to download. You're going to get 72 more emails from me with other text information. That's option number 1. That's automation, right? Automation plus infusing human connection at every point might look something like this instead. I get to the opt-in offer and there's a video that explains what I'm about to sign up for. Not just the title of the ebook, but like why, what are the benefits? Sell me on it. So then I have a human connection with you through that video. I opt in. I get redirected to a success page where, bam, there's another video from you that's personally thanking me for my time and my trust. That email is in your inbox, but before you go, I want to tell you something that I think will really make a difference in your life. Boom, value bomb right there. Something they weren't expecting, and then give them a call to action to go do something else. And it doesn't have to be a sales offer. It could just be follow me on social media. If you liked this value bomb, make a quick 1-minute video and text it to me and tell me why you liked it so much or whatever it is, right? That's another opportunity. Then I get in the email and there's another video from me that's like thanking me in a different way with a different value bomb. I mean, like, I guess I'm just saying, and another, there's an app called Bonjoro that a lot of people have heard about now. But when people opt into your email list, you can get notified in Bonjoro and do a personalized video message right then and there. Oh, hey, Matt, what's up? Hey, gosh, thank you so much for signing up. Now, that would blow your freaking mind to do that, especially with somebody who looks very successful and busy. The fact that they took the time to send you a personalized 1-minute video, are you kidding me? You know, like, that's what I mean. You can still accomplish automation, but don't just slap it together and move on because you want more freedom. Do it the right way and infuse human connection at every turn as much as you can, usually through video. That will be the game changer.
That is gold. Thank you for that clarification there. Because, I've actually, so I'm a big AppSumo fan after my buddy who's a big YouTuber. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, have you seen the new thing on AppSumo? I'm like, There was this one called Dub that's just like Bonjoro, where I can send those personalized videos. And also then when I send it, it's essentially got this black bar across the top that I can personalize. So if I sent you a video, it'd be like, hey, Amber, stoked to have you come into Author Up Live. And then you see that video and it's like, oh, wow. You don't even have to press play to know that it's for you.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Personalize it, right? Make me feel special, because I am special. Like, we take it for granted when somebody joins our email list, like, oh, it's just another one. That's a living human, like, that has thoughts and feelings and fears, and they're having moments of paranoia. They might have a chronic illness. They might be opting in because they have a sick kid. I mean, we have no idea who these people are. Yeah. You should get to know who these people are.
Big time. Yeah, I agree. I'm a huge fan, especially if you're doing email automation. First email should tell someone to reply. It's such a good opportunity to actually learn who those people are.
Gosh, I know. Yeah. Well, at least we're out there telling others to do it. That's good. It'll spread.
Big time. Yeah. And all right. So I know that we've got a hard stop time because you're a mom and you've got mom duties coming up.
Mom stuff.
Yeah. So I would be doing my viewers a disservice if I did not ask you about how to actually make the most of the content that you are producing, because you have a system called Leverage to Scale, which I use a version of, that essentially takes you from creating one 5 to 10 minute video to having like a month's worth of content. So
thank you.
Yeah. So I'm super curious to hear from you. Like, what is your process from feeling that pain of, oh man, like this is really annoying to have to create a separate blog post, video, all this type of stuff, to, okay, now I've got this system. Like, you've got this system Leverage to Scale. Like, what was building that out like? What was that process for you?
I remember it like it was yesterday. I do. Yeah. So I told you about my pain point with the sales calls, right? And then I thought there has to be a better way. So then I created the video and the service menu, and then everything changed. Yeah. So it was like 5 years ago, and I would spend 45 minutes crafting my blog post and then doing keyword research and optimizing it and finding the right image for it. And then I did these super robust newsletters back then that took me, forever to do those once a week. It was painful. And then I would then try to go over to Facebook and try to think of something to say there. And it was just like I was burning out doing my own marketing. Yeah. And it got to this point where I was like, gosh, there has got to be a better way than this. Now, at this point in my career, I had been using video in a lot of different ways in my business, for making client training videos or running webinars or doing some YouTube work. But YouTube really hadn't taken off in the way that it's like taking off today, right? So this was 5 years ago. People were definitely using it, just they didn't see the potential with it yet fully. Maybe the biggest influencers did. And so I knew that video was the future. Very clearly. So I thought, okay, what if I were to create a batch of these tip videos? Because I know that people are searching Google for, how do I fill in the blank? So if I just start answering a bunch of these questions in individual videos, I, then could conceivably repurpose that video and turn it into a blog post, and then use that blog post to send out my email, and then do my social media out of that content and adding in some other stuff. So seriously, as an experiment, that Saturday, I sat down, I chugged a latte, sat in my office, and in 3 hours, I recorded 20-some short tip videos. It was crazy fun, because I would do a video, hit record and record, run and change my shirt, come back, hit record and record, put my hair in a ponytail, record it again, come back, change my shirt. It was a game to see how many I could create in the 3 hours that I had. When I was done, I was sitting on 20 videos, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's 20 weeks of content. Now, all I need to do is email my virtual assistant, Jill, at the time, and tell her step by step everything else I want her to do. So I said, Jill, here's a folder with my 20 videos. Please go do keyword research, and here's what I want you to look for and how. Then upload it to YouTube and, do these 15 optimization techniques. Then I want you to craft a blog post, 300 words that summarizes my video and invites people to watch it. Then send that out as our weekly email, and here's how. And then this is the structure and format for our social media. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much. And so literally after that, I didn't have to think about any of it for 20 weeks until it was time to batch record more videos. And that time I did 35 videos. And so totally took this for granted, got so much traffic of the right qualified traffic because I led with video first. So the wrong people left, the right people came in, they watched the website video, they got the service menu, we did the 30-minute call. I had so many people convert into sales. I had to stop marketing in my business for 2 years. I'm not even kidding. Like I did a couple podcast interviews, but I was like, I'm not doing any more video. Oh my gosh. It's like, this is crazy. And it was. And the only reason I started doing it again is I got to this place where it hit me like a ton of bricks. Maybe there's something here that other people would find value in. And so what I did is I took that training documentation I made for Jill, I put it into an online platform. I called it Leverage to Scale. And a year ago, we launched. And it's basically a set of systems and procedures that teaches your team how to do your marketing for you so that you're not hiring out to agencies, spending thousands of dollars hoping for results. You're not hiring a freelancer who probably hasn't been trained to this advanced degree of optimization, who you still have to tell them what to do and how to do it and when to get it done by. What if I were to step in and provide the structure that your virtual assistant needs at the advanced training that they need, and then it frees you up to go out and do the things that only you can do in your business, like build relationships and do high-level content. And I just am kind of that buffer that makes it happen at a far reduced cost. And so that's Leverage to Scale. We launched a year ago. It's been unbelievable, the results that we're getting people in so many different industries. It was a total game changer. I love it. It's exciting.
Yeah, the system is definitely a game changer because it's been less than 8 months since I decided to stop doing, I'm going to do a podcast, which is separate from my blog content, which is separate from my social media. I was really thinking that it had to be different content every single place. And it can be, but from the same source.
Yeah, you know? That's true. Yeah. It's just about working smarter without sacrificing quality. And that's the key. It's not about just slapping crap out there. I mean, you have to do it right because this is your reputation. And if you really show people the goods up front, the free stuff, they're going to think, oh my gosh, what is he going to show me behind closed doors in the membership area? Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Of course I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
So I think it's systems and procedures inside of a company are something that every business owner on the planet needs help with. Most business owners don't have the time or the creativity or the capacity to develop systems. And so they're just stuck going nowhere fast. And so I figure if systems are a strength of mine, what if I can create systems for you? And so we're actually developing a book launch version of Leverage to Scale right now that will launch later this year. And that is highly sophisticated. Like, let me tell you, it's nuts. But I feel like it's really serving a huge purpose. This is like soul legacy work right here. It's awesome.
Big time. Yeah, I've always wanted to write a book. So I'm like,
do it.
Coming up.
Do it.
Yeah, so good. Well, Amber, thank you so much for coming on and just dropping knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. So if people want to continue seeing these knowledge bombs and connecting with you, where do you think the best place is?
Probably on YouTube. Honestly, I mean, every week the videos that I'm coming out with are extremely high value. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Of course, the primary website is ngNGenterprises.com, where we can help support building your website. LeverageToScale.com is the marketing system that we just mentioned. And then we also do book launches as well. So any of those three things, or just follow me on social. And or if you want to have like a free 45-minute conversation, we can do that too. Like, I'm just here to serve whatever format is best for you and the way that you like to learn.
Awesome. Thank you again. And yeah, I really hope that people actually take action on these things, because, oh my gosh, yeah. It's like every time I see a new video from you, I'm like, oh, all right, I got to test that out.
Yeah, so when you're done watching, don't just check your phone and go on to the next thing, because you'll get distracted. So instead, sit down and write 3 things that you're going to do as a result of listening to this episode, and then start putting them in motion. Even if it's just a quick email out to a VA saying, hey, I want to do this by the end of next week, or hey, I think we should subscribe, or whatever it is. 3 action steps, put them in motion, and then you'll make sure to get the most out of this opportunity. Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. Thanks for being generous with your time yet again.
Wow. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Amber Vilhauer of NGNG Enterprises. In the comments below, tell me one idea you have for improving the way you communicate and connect with people online. And if you're interested in the services Amber has to offer, especially as it relates to writing and publishing a book, I've linked up her website in the description below. Please make sure to like the show and subscribe to the channel to get notified when we release new shows to help you run your coaching business more profitably and serve your clients more effectively. Much love, Beyond Macros Heroes. I'll see you next time.